This is Top Accolade Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. The United States has approved the potential sale of $690 million in new weapons to Taiwan, including missiles for its F-16 fleet, as the island reported a second day of large-scale Chinese Air Force incursions nearby. The arms sales are likely to further sour already tense ties between Washington and Beijing, which has repeatedly demanded such deals stop, viewing them as unwarranted support for democratically governed Taiwan, an island China claims as its own territory. The Pentagon said on Wednesday the U.S. State Department has approved the potential sale to Taiwan of arms and equipment that includes 200 anti-aircraft advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles and 100 AGM-88B HARM missiles that can take out land-based radar stations. Taiwan's defense ministry said the missiles would help effectively defend the airspace to deal with threats and provocations from the communist military and would bolster defense stockpiles. The Israeli army has lifted a 3-day blockade on the Palestinian city of Jericho in the eastern occupied West Bank after killing a man it claims was responsible for a shooting attack that killed an American Israeli earlier this week. Israeli forces shot 22-year-old Palestinian man Mahmoud Jamal Azan Amdan during a raid on the Akabet Jabba refugee camp in Jericho on Wednesday afternoon. He succumbed to his wounds later in the day, the Palestinian Ministry of Health confirmed. A general strike swept across Jericho on Thursday in protest over Amdan's killing, while the Israeli army removed checkpoints and roadblocks it had placed at the entrances to the city, which had heavily restricted the movement of thousands of Palestinians as they searched for the perpetrator of the shooting. The Palestinian shooting attack took place on Monday, killing Elan Ganeles, a 26-year-old American Israeli and former Israeli army soldier, on a highway near occupied Jericho. The incident occurred after hundreds of Jewish settlers rampaged through Wara and other Palestinian villages south of Nablus in the West Bank, killing one Palestinian civilian and injuring hundreds and burning dozens of cars and homes in what has been described as a pogrom. Rescuers combed through Chad and Bokut rail carriages for more victims of Greece's deadliest train crash on Thursday, a disaster that killed at least 46 people and has led to a national outpouring of grief and anger. The high-speed passenger train, with more than 350 people on board, smashed head-on into a freight train near the city of Larissa late on Tuesday, and temperatures in one carriage had risen to 1,300 Celsius after it caught fire. Many of the passengers had to kick through windows to escape the flames. To identify some of the victims, relatives had to give DNA samples at a hospital in Larissa, where disbelief turned to anger for some. Many of the victims were university students returning home after a long holiday weekend, and officials said the death toll was expected to rise further. Scores were injured. The wreck triggered sadness and anger across Greece, where the government has declared 3 days of national mourning. Authorities in the Philippines are racing to find and secure a sunken tanker ship loaded with 800,000 liters of industrial fuel oil that has started to leak into waters rich in coral and marine life. The Princess Empress was traveling from Bataan province near the capital Manila to the central province of Iloilo on Tuesday when it developed engine trouble and sank in rough seas. The Philippine Coast Guard initially reported that a spillage spotted in the sea was diesel fuel from the striking vessel's engines and not the ship's cargo of industrial oil, but the Coast Guard said on Thursday that tests of water samples showed that some of the industrial oil had leaked into the sea off Oriental Mindoro province. The spill had spread over 24 square kilometers by Wednesday, the Coast Guard said previously. It is not known how much diesel fuel and how much of the industrial fuel oil cargo is in the water. The cargo of fuel oil was loaded directly into the tanker and was not in sealed containers, Palilo said, noting that the Princess Empress sank in waters more than 400 meters deep, which was too deep for divers to reach. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has criticized global institutions for failing to address the world's biggest challenges, calling on countries to find common ground on divisive issues. Speaking at the opening of the Group of 20 G20 Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi on Thursday, Modi said that countries should acknowledge that multilateralism is currently in crisis. India holds the G20 presidency this year, but New Delhi's long-standing security ties with Moscow have put the host of Thursday's meeting in an awkward position. India, being a major buyer of Russian armament and energy, has not directly condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On Wednesday, Indian Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said Russia's war in Ukraine is expected to be an important point of discussion at the meeting. New Delhi is also keen to steer the talks towards issues affecting the global south, such as poverty, eradication, and climate change. That is the size of top accurate global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Thursday.